Brown, Green, Raines, Eddy, and Davila, which means that Dorian Finney-Smith will come off the bench. And Dorian hasn't really done that much this year. As you look at the Maryland starting lineup, the two-line starting lineups for the Terrapins, Terrell Stoglin, their leading scorer, Sean Mosley, their senior, Deshaun Howard, the point guard, Padgett and Pankey. Alex Lynn will come off the bench for them. Well, the Atlantic Coast Conference is designated this week as Sportsmanship Awareness Week for its winter sports. So the two coaches met at midcourt, exchanged pleasantries, although Seth has a little bit of laryngitis today. He can barely talk. Every league team is showcasing its continued dedication to sportsmanship by participating in that pregame handshake. Both teams came together at midcourt. They got together and shook hands.
How do you think his team feels about that laryngitis? May not be the worst thing in the world.
I guarantee you and I would like it.
But you know what, and he talked to us before the game about treating these guys with a little more kid glove attitude. He got on them early in the season, but they're a very young team, and he's kind of backed off the throttle a little bit.
We like it when the coach can't yell at us. Brian Kersey, Ray Natilli, Michael Stevens, those are the officials here today at the Comcast Center, and we're underway. Late arriving crowd, but they sold more than 16,000 tickets for this game. This place was rocking the other night when Duke was in town, always does. Down they go to Pankey. Little jump hook, and he banks it in. He continues to grow, Mike. He's getting better and better every outing.
Ron, he started against Duke, had a very good game, 8 points, 8 rebounds, showed a nice patience that time, good low post move.
Virginia Tech has had a tough time scoring points this year. They missed their first 16 shots against BYU the other night and missed their first one here this afternoon.
Seth told us he wanted to go with that bigger lineup with Sedarian Raines, get him out on the floor early.
Again, they go inside. Padgett tries to back his way in. Little drop step, and he banks it in. 4-0 Maryland.
No real shot blockers out there for Virginia Tech, so Maryland right now attacking the paint early, giving guys post-up opportunities.
Seth Greenberg telling us earlier today that the X factor for him is Alex Lynn when he comes into the ball game. Truly a mismatch.
He's a legitimate. Sometimes there are lineup 7-footers, and then there are real 7-footers, and he is legitimately that tall.
Folks, I've got to tell you, before the game, I ran Mike out there. He was right around 7 feet. I said, stand against him, Mike. I want to see. He's every bit. Alex Lynn, every bit of 7 feet, a little bit more, maybe 7'1". Nice pass to Padgett underneath. He misses, but he'll go to the line to shoot two.
Well, it's probably good to see for the Maryland bench that Stoglin made that play. If there's been a criticism this year that he hasn't made people around him better and has looked for a shot, but if he can be a facilitator, at least part of the time, get other people involved, that's going to be a positive.
Padgett leads the Terrapins with 6 rebounds a game, but he's only a 59% free throw shooter. Hits all chords on that one. 6'8", 215-pound junior from Brooklyn, New York.
Mark Turgeon looking on. I really think he's the right coach at the right time for this team.
I agree.
Really brings an incredible resume here. Everywhere he's won, everywhere he's been, he's won. And you got to think with the talent around here and the recruiters that he has, that's going to continue.
So Brown with a good hustle play, but he travels and Maryland gets it right back. I couldn't agree with you more, Mike. I mean, he's one of those guys that he has just managed expectations here. We saw a look at Seth Greenberg in his 9th year at Virginia Tech. Coming into the season, he was 166 and 114. Now he's 12-8 this season. Good look at Seth. Struggling a little bit today with his health, and his dog just died the other day. So, I mean, he's a little down in the dumps. Stoglin's first shot of the afternoon draws iron. So that'll bring Virginia Tech down quickly. Green takes it back out and resets. Green, Brown, Davila, Eddy, Raines. This is Green. Yes. That's a 2-ball. Had a foot on the line.
Got 2 screens up top. The first one from Raines, and then came back in the other direction with Davila and was able to get himself free.
Mosley for 3.
That's amazing that his regular field goal percentage is still down, but his 3-point percentage way up from last year, 42% already.
Sean Mosley came into Maryland as a freshman, earned a starting role, played extremely well, improved on that his sophomore year, then really struggled for some reason last year. He's not even sure why.
Well, he got off to a terrible start and then never really found his rhythm offensively. It just was a struggle and a force the whole rest of the year.
Nice pass to Davila. Down low, and he's fouled. Foul will be on James Padgett. That's his first.
Here you see the screening action, and Maryland's going to have to do a lot of. There's a lot of on-the-ball screening for Virginia Tech. They run a lot of sets, and then Mosley rising up. Perhaps people not honoring him as much as they should right now.
And that's going to be an offensive foul against Virginia Tech. Foul will be on Green. That's his first.
The foul's on number 11, Eric Green, his first.
Boy, Eric Green has been playing at a high level, hasn't he? 16 points, 3 assists a game.
The ball will be in his hands. Looks if anything, Seth Greenberg would like to have him be more of a leader with this team. They're so young, and he's working into that role slowly.
Maryland trying to work to the inside again like they did against Duke. They were drawing and driving and dishing.
I think that's the key with Stoglen. You got to force him to his right hand, make him beat you that way. And he tried to come back and score with the left and got a shot blocked.
.16:30 to play in the first half. First block of the game by Brown. And great defensive play by Mosley. He knocked it off the leg of Jarrell Eddy, and so Maryland gets it back.
You know, he's always one of those guys. He's been undersized throughout his career at his position, but never afraid to get into the lane area. Rebounds the ball well for his size. Usually gets the 50-50 balls if they're loose on the floor. Just does a lot of different things for you.
Eric Green goes out of the game. Dorian Finney-Smith comes in. Boy, Virginia Tech has struggled with that turnover. This is Pishon Howard. His shot is short.
And you wonder what Maryland's season would be like if they had Brown or Pishon Howard right from the start and Len both healthy in the first 10 games.
Virginia Tech just 1 for 4 from the field, starting like they did against BYU. And here's a foul against Finney-Smith. Maryland fans enjoying it so far. 8-2 Terps. Fine job protecting the perimeter. They just need to hold the ball more offensively and not turn it over as much.
Tim, you look at it, and then all of Seth Greenberg's teams have been very stingy on the defensive end of the floor. It's just been manufacturing points that's really defines whether they win or lose. They're going to hold you to around 60. It's whether they can get to 65 that makes the difference, or 70.
Alex Len in the ball game now from Maryland. Here's his first handle. Len throws it away. Look for the pass rather than the shot once he got up in the air.
Well, Pankey had offensive rebounding position, so he should have let that one go up at the rim.
Green answers at the other end with a 3-ball.
He's been the only offense for Virginia Tech in their first 7 possessions. He'd only scored 1 time, and he was the guy who knocked down the jump shot, so maybe he needs to be a little bit more assertive.
Mark Turgeon yelled at Len as he came up the court, shoot it.
Yep. Game has to slow down for him. Right now, everything's a little bit too fast.
Good rebound taken away. Almost got a double dribble there. Now Finney-Smith shoots it himself. Not sure that's a shot that Seth Greenberg wants from him.
Hasn't had a field goal made in the last 4 games. 0 of 18 in that stretch. The only points he scored at the free throw line. So he desperately, just for his mental health, needs to see the ball go through the basket.
Pishon Howard calls out the offense. They're not going to let Stoglen go free at all today. They know he is the key, the linchpin to this Maryland offense, and so they are watching him closely. Mosley's shot bottoms. That's a 3-ball, and it's 11-5 Maryland.
Well, I think now he's earned the respect of this defense, so you got to go out and get a hand up on him.
Maryland defensively gets a hand on it. Now a whistle and a foul. Will that be on Pankey? It is on Pankey.
Well, that's a nice offensive rebound by Barksdale, and then but here's the look again. A lot of dribbling going around and a pump fake. You got to keep your feet. Finney Smith that time giving him the room by going up and trying to get the block.
And he misses the first. Sure. Finney Smith is a 64% free throw shooter. He's made 32 of his 51 attempts. Probably the most heralded recruit ever at Virginia Tech. Had a double and double his first game at Tech, but he struggled a little bit lately.
No, he hasn't. I think, Tim, that Seth Greenberg said he really thinks he's going to be a great player, but he has to catch up to how physical play is, especially in league competition.
Pretty much what you were saying about Alex Lynn as well. Alex Lynn moved very well for a 7-1 guy, but he's still a little bit thin. Still doesn't have the confidence he did while he was playing in the Ukraine. Faust goes to the floor hard, and he's fouled. 13:51 to play in the first half. 11-6 Maryland. Virginia Tech has been a slow starter most of the season. Foul is on Davila.
Faust, another guy, again, a freshman coming off the bench, but his numbers, shooting numbers are pretty low, only 54% at the line.
Only a 54% free throw shooter makes that one recruited. Big time recruit out of Baltimore City High School in Baltimore. He and Mosley both some of the all-time leading scorers in that city.
The big thing for him is shot selection right now, and that's not uncommon for a guy coming out of high school if he's used to having the green light and whatever, to be disciplined and learn what's a good shot and what isn't one on this level takes a little time.
This is Davila, top of the key, works it around to Barksdale. Lorenzo Hudson. Back to Hudson. Green. Shot clock at 15. Really hasn't been much of a factor in this game. Green will fire for three and bury it.
Yeah, he's been terrific so far, and it's been a very perimeter offense oriented for Virginia Tech. They haven't gone into Davila much in the low post, not much inside there. It's been the guards that have been producing the offense.
Eric Green with 8 of the 9 points for Virginia Tech. A lot different atmosphere in here this afternoon than they had in the Comcast Center this past week when Duke was in town.
You think?
Keyshawn Howard beyond the arc. That's a 3-ball.
Yeah, they said, Mark Turgeon said they were really rolling, and when he went down, that was a big blow to this team. I'm talking about Keyshawn Howard. So they've almost had to restart a couple of times with him coming back and then with Len coming back.
Terrapins 3 for 4 from the bonus sphere. Here's Faust with a rebound. They look at the break, and Keyshawn doesn't see it.
We talked about Virginia Tech and how well they defend that three. It hasn't been the case here early on, and that's really given Maryland a lift.
Faust looks at a jumper.
That's the one thing Finney Smith has continued to do well is rebound the ball, 7.5 per. 3 already in this game in the first 8 minutes.
Everybody talks about the disparity in the league this year. Now, the ACC is down, but it's a very young league.
We talked about him at the Open, Lorenzo Hudson. They need his offense. Maybe not as explosive as he's been in the past.
Of course, Lorenzo had that foot surgery last year. His right foot ended his season. He's one of those 1,000 career point guys, though, at Virginia Tech. Keyshawn Howard now sees 10 on the shot clock. He'll fire from 3. Len with the rebound. Still a little bit awkward when he goes back up.
Yeah, I don't know that he had his legs underneath him fully that time. Not a good base. But Howard, he heard the crowd counting down. I don't know that he necessarily saw the shot clock right away, so the home crowd helped him out a little bit there.
Or spooked him, one of the two, because he shot as soon as he heard him. Green will fire. This is 2.
A little better job that time. Howard fighting through the screen and pressuring the shot.
Faust trying to beat him down the floor. He's fouled. Bucket won't go, but he'll go to the line to shoot 2. 11:01 to play in the first half. Timeout on the floor. We'll take one as well with Maryland leading Virginia Tech 16-11, but we're just getting warmed up in College Park.
Popcorn. Fresh pop.
Teams combined 6 of 9 early on.
Of course, a lot of that, Green, as you say, 3 for 4. The rest of the team just 1 for 6. So they've got to find some other scores. At the line right now is Faust, Nick Faust. He's a 6'6", 175-pound freshman from Baltimore City High School. Had 7 points Wednesday night against Duke. He's another one of those guys that, Mike, you say is growing up and needs better shot selection. And I think he's been trying to work on that. Hudson down the middle, nice pass. It was a little too hard for Raines.
Again, they've been working that screen roll game, and that time trying to get the bigs involved. Raines just went right through his hand. His left hand is taped up pretty heavily. You wonder if that had a little influence on him catching the ball, and the pass was a little hot from about 2 or 3 feet away.
18-11 Maryland. This is Stoglin. And Stoglin is called for the push-off. So the first foul on Stoglin.
And he's been pretty quiet here early on in the offense at the 10-minute mark. He's looked to make more plays than he has make shots. He's 0 of 3 from the field so far.
I don't think we're surprised, Mike, by the way the game is starting. I mean, Maryland got off from beyond the arc pretty well, hitting their first 3 out of 4, but for Virginia Tech, it's a slow starting team, and not, as you say, a good shooting team. Hudson off balance, throws up a prayer.
Well, neither team has gotten much out in transition, although Maryland looking to run right now, but good transition defense by Virginia Tech.
Faust goes inside to Pankey. Pankey scored the first bucket of the game. He goes in again with the left hand and scores again. Terrapins by 9.
Pankey's really showed me he loves to work on that right block, and it showed some nice patience inside.
Pankey with 4 points, 4 rebounds, being effective here early on against the Hokies. Raines got the start today. And timeout, Virginia Tech. So Seth Greenberg is going to get Eric Green back in the ball game.
Well, here's the look, and he's done a nice job rocks Barksdale back a little bit with getting the ball through, but then finishing with the left hand inside. Really no double team coming down to help. So he shows nice patience, good vision right there, and you just see it's one-on-one down low that Virginia Tech committed, at least right now, to staying at home on the perimeter.
You know, each week our ACC Network panel of experts rank ACC men's basketball teams in a power poll presented by Toyota. This week Duke leads the way, but there's a new number 2 challenger in the top spot. Visit theacc.com/power poll each week to see where all 12 teams stack up. Panel of experts ranking the teams.
Alleged experts.
I think it's been fun. Here's Green with a 2-ball. His shot is short. And the ball hit the shot clock, so that'll be out of bounds. It'll be Maryland basketball.
Eric Green was getting better looks early in this game. He was coming off the pick and roll and seeing a bigger basket, but now they're Maryland doing a better job of contesting his shots. He's found it a little tougher.
Mosley hit a couple long jumpers. They left him alone again. Instead, Stoglin drives and gets the roll. Stoglin's been on the floor a lot today.
Yeah, and it's so much different. Stoglin came off that double low screen, and he got to his left hand and just kept going into the paint.
His first basket of the afternoon. Brown's shot is long. Faust comes down with it. Terrapins try to run again. Nice pass. Pankey.
How about that? Freshman to freshman. The thing just opened up, and Faust showed nice patience that time, waiting for the trailer to come into the play.
Ashton Pankey. It's an 8-0 run by the Maryland Terrapins.
Here you see when he gets to his left hand, he's just too good. Finishing inside. Nice strong move by Stoglin. And there it is. Look at Faust just waiting a count, letting Pankey get in and get the dunk.
Ashton Pankey, 6'9", 220-pound freshman out of the Bronx, New York. He had 8 points, 8 rebounds against Duke the other night. Continues to get better. He's a classic small forward. He's got those skills down low. You can see that. And he's got 6 points, 4 rebounds today.
And this pace is one that Virginia Tech can't play in. We talked about the teams getting in the half court, but on this run, Maryland has gotten out in transition a little bit more. A good timeout by Seth Greenberg, try to calm things down a little bit.
The Hokies beat Virginia last week, lost to BYU the other night. It's been a long drought here for the Hokies. About 3.5 minutes, they come up short again. Good power move underneath. And they finally get a bucket. It's Raines.
Again, he's a guy who's going to get most of his stuff off either pick and roll penetration or on the offensive glass.
Raines is one of those guys that's just starting to grow up, get some experience. He had that severely broken foot.
Supposed to get healthy for the first time,
no, you're
really
right.
In his career,
where they can actually work with him in practice.
Yep.
That foot was so severely broken, they didn't know if he would recover fully to play. They actually shocked it electronically, got the blood flow going again, and here he is. There's a whistle and a foul with 7:40 to play in the first half. 24-13, Maryland.
ESPN, the home court of college hoops. Big Monday.
Are you telling me there's no magic in this house tonight?
Super Tuesday.
Oh, my
Wednesday.
Load today.
Tim, I'd like to take a minute to send our thoughts and prayers out to Bobby Cremens, who has taken a leave of absence from the College of Charleston for an undisclosed medical issue. Don't know what the issue is, but hope that he recovers from that quickly and gets back to the bench.
Thank you for that, Mike, colleague of ours and a very, very close friend. He is in our thoughts and our prayers. Parker drags his pivot foot, so he travels, and there's another turnover for the Maryland Terrapins. That's 3.
Good adjustment coming out of the timeout for Seth Greenberg to throw a little zone out there, let this young team see if they can recognize it, and he draws the turnover.
Here's Eddie with a long jumper off the back of the rim, and Maryland's going to run. They've got a 4-on-3 situation. He shot Howard with a little spin move and offensive foul.
That's what happens. You take an ill-advised quick shot like Jarrell Eddy did, and it usually triggers a fast break, and Virginia Tech very fortunate that Maryland did not convert on that.
Terrapins didn't spread the floor on the break. They still lead 24-13. Padgett now has 2 personal fouls, so Alex Len comes back into the ball game, and Padgett goes out.
Well, this is the first real test for Virginia Tech. They don't score enough. They can't let Maryland separate here and get away from them. They don't have a lot of firepower to get back from a 20-point deficit, so they've got to get back into this game now.
Now, the other side of that is Maryland hasn't been able to separate from many teams. Here's Hudson. This is beyond the arc. Good hustle under there. Pankey having a terrific first half. He's got 5 rebounds. Stoglin again dribbles into trouble and forces the turnover. Here comes Virginia Tech to make them pay at the other end. And a great job by Mosley to stop the break.
We talked about at the top, Stoglin, if there is a complaint, he's averaging 20 points a game, the only guy in the ACC doing that. But that time, too much of a force. He tried to make the play, but there were just too many Tech players around.
Virginia Tech doing a very nice job on Stoglin. They just need to generate some points somehow.
Seth Greenberg was really concerned about him one-on-one.
The block by Len, and Davila stays with it and goes right back at the bucket to score.
Good second effort. This is the first time we've heard from Davila in this game, and really showed a lot of heart on that play, not giving up on the block. Virginia Tech back with the zone.
Mosley. Len with another rebound. Back to Mosley. Over to Stoglin. Stoglin has it blocked, and Eddie fouls him. That's 3 on Eddie, and that could be a major factor. Or that was a 3-point shot. He'll go to the line. That's 2 on Eddie.
Here's the lawyer. I mean, you never want to foul a jump shooter. You want to close out under control, but in the zone, Eddie just trying to get the block. He did get on the piece, but then on the follow through, just clobbered Stoglin.
So 2 personals on Eddie now as Stoglin goes to the line to shoot 3. Terrell Stoglin, a 75% free throw shooter, but he struggled at the line against Duke the other night and misses his first one here.
And he's aggressive. Last 3 games, Tim, he's got 21 free throw attempts. So that you want to talk about how you get your scoring average up. You get to the line 10 times.
Closed captioning for ACC basketball provided by Bojangles, famous chicken and biscuits. It's bow time. Maryland has hit more free throws than the opponents have attempted this year. But they only shoot 64% as a team, and he misses the second one. This is for 3.
On that one for Finney Smith, I mean, if you're struggling offensively, trying to take a 3 is not the way to get yourself back into it.
And Lynn has it taken away on the way up. He was going to slam it. This foul will be on Finney Smith.
One of the things the coach has said about Len is that he's been a little nervous in games, and I think he's looking to be more aggressive here. He's got very good hands, good catch right there, and a good aggressive move into the rim to get to the free throw line.
So Alex Len shooting his first free throw of the game, and that one rattles out. He's only a 56% free throw shooter. He's hit only 18 of his 33 attempts this year.
And Maryland leaving some points at the line, 6 of 10 here early on.
They did the other night against Duke. They were 11 of 19.
Yeah, not a great free throw shooting team, but Mark Turgeon said his guys have really been working on that aspect of it, and their numbers starting to go up.
So he makes the second one and extends the lead to 11 points for the Terrapins. Virginia Tech lost to BYU 70-68 Wednesday night. Lorenzo Hudson had 14 points. Eddie had a double-double. Nice look underneath, and Davila is fouled on the way up.
Well, now in that pick and roll action, it looks like Virginia Tech's guards are starting to get their bigs a little bit more involved. They're looking for the roll guy on the road. You would have liked Davila to finish that one and have a 3-point play opportunity.
Foul is on Pishon Howard. His first. Davila goes to the line. Victor Davila is a 6'8 senior out of Havana's, Puerto Rico. And he makes the first.
Well, one thing you look at for Davila, I'd like to see his rebounding numbers go up. Only 3.9 coming in, and 6'8". You look at Eric Green, he's averaging 3.4 rebounds. So they need to get more from him off the glass.
Makes both free throws. He had 12 points against BYU Wednesday night. Started last year, scored in double figures 9 times.
This zone has gotten Maryland off their stride a little bit offensively.
Pankey wasn't ready for the pass. Good idea, poor execution by the Terrapins.
I like the bounce pass in that situation. It's a much easier one to handle. If you try a little direct pass from 3 or 4 feet away, sometimes it can be tough to see and catch. A bounce pass, much softer.
Oh, nice move by Davila, and then missed the shot. Couldn't finish.
What did Seth Greenberg say to us about them getting shots against BYU, layups that they were missing, and same opportunities here?
Stoglin brings it back out. They've done a nice job on Stoglin this afternoon. Howard, the Faust, he goes down the lane and misses the short jumper. Green beyond the arc. Maryland's got a 3-on-2, and Stoglin takes it himself.
Nobody stepped up to stop the advance of the basketball, especially a guy who can score like Stoglin. You know he's going to be looking for his own offense. You've got to get in front of him.
Stoglin leads the Atlantic Coast Conference in scoring. He averages 20 points a game. He's got 5 here this afternoon. Duke did a nice job on him the other night, held him to 16. Did you see Plumlee the other night? He had his way in the middle across the lane.
It really has improved his low box game. He used to just out-athlete people early on in his career.
Shot clock at 2. And the foul by Mosley with 1 on the shot clock. And Mark Turgeon frustratingly shakes his head. Well, both teams a little frustrated now. Maryland continues to lead 28-17. The other night before the Duke game.
Very well-deserved honor, and he's been a terrific coach and ambassador for a long, long time. And it won't be too long, I think, before Springfield calls his name and he gets into the Hall of Fame there. But it's been a pleasure to call games with him, and he's been a joy to be around.
I agree with you, and it is overdue and well-deserved. I told him that the other day as JJ works his little magic, stops some bleeding on Stoglin. And Jarrell Eddy at the line. Makes the first one. He averaged 11 minutes a game last year as a freshman. Had 12 points, 14 rebounds against BYU the other night with 5 assists. And now he has 2 points in this game.
And I think him next year that he's going to have the ability to step up and become a 16, 17, 18 point a game scorer. And he's that talented.
For the Terrapins, 25, Alex Len.
Len wanted the ball, instead Stoglin.
Well, they're trying to work in the zone through Faust up at the high post and get him the ball and let him make plays, but still Maryland has not been very efficient against this.
Stoglin fires from 3. Mosley will bring it back out.
One thing that's a little more difficult to do if you're playing zone is to rebound out of it. Some offensive rebounding opportunities there.
And Len throws it away. Tried a no-look pass to Mosley. 2-on-1. And are you serious?
Two wide open layups missed by Virginia Tech.
Seth Greenberg just shakes his head and goes, what?
You know, I go back to the adage that coaches get you shots, players have to make shots. And right now they're getting some pretty good look. But Virginia Tech just 6 points in the paint so far, and they've had opportunities at the rim.
Well, they're not going to get much closer to that rim than they did just on that break. 28-19 Maryland, 3:06 to play in the first half. It's a game that really hasn't had a lot of rhythm. Seth Greenberg gets a lot of credit for that. He went to a zone, kind of stopped Maryland's running game, stopped the inside game, and the Terrapins haven't adjusted very well. And certainly the Hokies have had opportunities to score. They've come away empty more trips than not. 25% from the field, Virginia Tech shooting today. Down the lane, and he buries the dunk.
Right, and I like Mosley a little bit more in that position in the middle of the zone, making better decisions. The only senior in this group. They put Faust out on the perimeter and let Mosley make some plays.
Terrapins by 11. Maryland stays in the man-to-man defense. Shot clock is now down to 10. Hudson looks, gets it back to Brown, and he walks.
Here's what you try to do. We talked about it. You get the touch in right there. He finds some open space. Len makes himself available underneath, and the nice finish is going to help his confidence in this game to get a finish.
See if they get Mosley back into the middle of that zone. They were successful last time. Len pops out. This is Stoglin. When he gets it, he fires it. Follows his own shot. And hits the 2.
That time they changed it up a little bit. Some man principles against the zone. They were screening up top with the drive and kick, and that got them some open looks. So we're doing a better job. Let's see how long Virginia Tech stays with that zone.
Terrell Stoglin now with 7 points. And this is going to be called on Faust, I believe. And it is Faust first. Coming up at halftime, we'll have analysis, highlights, stats, and a whole lot more for you. That's all coming up on the Hardy's Halftime Report. So Virginia Tech now is in the bonus situation. They'll be shooting 1-1. Alex Len goes out. Pankey comes back in. So the Terrapins have Faust, Pankey, Howard, Mosley, and Stoglin. So it's not a big lineup for Maryland. Rankin comes in for Virginia Tech.
tough to miss those front end or one-on-ones in those situations. You're trying to claw your way back in offensively.
And Mark Turgeon wants a timeout with 1:28 remaining in the first half and a 32-19 lead. After missing the front end, Maryland has it. Timeout to bring it up here on the Maryland side of the court. Both coaches, this has to be frustrating teaching and coaching such young players.
Well, and that too, and if you're Seth Greenberg and you're really preparing for a new coach and a new style, so it's different from that standpoint. And Mark Turgeon and what he's bringing it for. If Gary Williams was here, that it would be an easier preparation for Seth, having competed against him for so long. But I think a lot of the coaches in the league are facing that same issue.
Virginia Tech just 2 field goals in the last 10.5 minutes.
And that's just how many missed opportunities have they had at makeable shots inside, though. It's tough to overcome on the road.
Virginia Tech shooting 51% from the field in the second half of games.
Yeah, Virginia
at
Tech,
home.
Virginia Tech back to man, Tim.
See what Maryland does and how they respond to the man-to-man coming out of the timeout. A little adjustment by Greenberg. Shot clock is down to 6. Stoglen sees it. Hit the rim. So they're saying the shot beat the clock and hit the rim. No violation. Play continues. And this foul will be on Stoglen.
And that was completely out of frustration for Stoglen. He's upset he didn't get a call down the other end, although I didn't think one was warranted. He was out of control on the play, and then he just let that frustration get away from him on the other end of the floor.
And he's been teetering on a tee because he's really been after Brian Kersey this entire first half. And Brian Kersey talks to him a little bit. Stoglen just 3 of 9, and then Mark Turgeon takes him out of the game.
Maybe the best thing to just let him sit down and cool down for the next 54 seconds.
Terrapins with another rebound, and Keyshawn Howard looks up at the clock. Mark Turgeon calls out the offense. 45 seconds remaining in the half. Get it back to Howard. Down to Mosley. Mosley with a little fadeaway jumper shot. His short.
Seth Greenberg wanting him to pull it out, go for the last shot of the half.
Shot clock is off. Play clock down to 20. Tech just 2 of its last 14 shots. Eight seconds. Green looks up. There's 5 seconds. And with 1 second left, it's good if it goes, and that's an air ball over the backboard. Maryland will end the half 32-19.
Yeah, not the half that Seth Greenberg wanted, only 19 points. They're going to have to.
Those. Pankey seems to be playing the best.
Yeah, he really did a nice job on the low block and got some easy buckets. Mosley just being steady. I mean, you just got nice balanced scoring there, top to bottom.
Pankey 3 for 3 from the floor, 7 rebounds, and got Maryland on the board early and often. 32-19 is our halftime score as we begin the final 20. Hokies already have a better tempo. This is Hudson down the lane. His shot is short.
That's just Seth Greenberg trying to get some offense in there. Hudson did not start the game, but starts the second half.
And Stoglen drives to the bucket and scores.
Just one of those guys that's hard to do, but you have to keep him in front of you and limit that to the extent that you can. But he is a big, strong guard.
Really quick, too, Mike. He gets to the middle, takes it right at the hoop. Green with a bucket. Oh, it's Davila with a follow.
They needed more of that, too. Not a lot of second chance opportunities in that first half.
Green got up so close, I gave him the bucket early.
Well, and it was a soft miss, too. It popped right up, and Davila was in the perfect position.
Stoglen gives up to Mosley. Hankey tries to take Davila. Dribbles it off his thigh. Has to go back way up top. Almost throws it away. Stoglen. Davila and Pankey having a nice battle down low. Inside to Paget, who backs his way in the lane. Drop step. Too hard. Gets it back. A lot of work for no points. And now he's fouled. No, he walks. Walk before the contact.
Here's the look inside. We talk about how aggressive he is, and even going right that time, still finishes left and the strength inside. And then the big offensive rebound for Davila. I think, you know, with Paget, they're smart not to double team him. I don't think you have to sacrifice that guy. And but I think eventually Pankey's a guy who's probably going to require a double team.
Eddie's shot draws iron. Boy, both teams just really cold. Stoglin takes it to the basket. His shot is short, knocked out of bounds by Pankey.
We talked about, I thought in the early part of the first half, Stoglin wasn't looking for his offense as much, but he has started to be more aggressive here, 4 of 12 in the game. And he has, on occasion, shot this team out of games.
Yeah, without question.
And they have to be concerned about that. It's a 13-point game.
Mark Turgeon was telling us that they were in a very good team offense most of the game against Duke, and then down the stretch, I think Terrell tried to take it over on his end, shot Maryland out of the game at the end against the Blue Devils. Both teams struggling here early in the second half. Parker drifts to the top, looks for help. Faust, nice pass underneath to Pankey, and he can't finish. Pankey gets it back. And knocked out of bounds by Eddie. Maryland will keep the ball under its own basket.
That's when we talk about 50-50 balls, and that's where Mosley excels and gets his team another 35 seconds and another possession just by hanging on the offensive glass.
Pankey with 10 rebounds this afternoon. And it's going to be an offensive on Faust. Mark Turgeon came awfully close to getting a technical. Ray Natilli gave him a nasty look as he went by, and Mark Turgeon didn't like the call. Green, spin move. Maryland's got a 3-on-1. Faust finishes it.
I really, from what I've seen today, like Pankey and Faust a lot. I mean, they get out in the open floor, and that's one of the easy opportunities. You know, if you're Seth Greenberg, you can't give those up on the road. He knows how precious points are.
Faust's first field goal of the afternoon. Hudson with 3.
They desperately need him to light up. 30% three-point shooter. He only had 2 points in the first half.
Cuts the lead to 12. And Pankey throws it, or Parker rather, throws it away.
Nice pass to Coach Turgeon.
He didn't like it, though. Look at him. It's a 12-point game.
ESPN, the home.
Nice job on Eric Green. They've calmed him down some, Tim. He hit his first 3 shots, averaging 16 points a game or 15 points a game. And now he's missed his last 7 from the floor.
Virginia Tech shot 24% in the first half. Here in the second half, they're just 2 for 8. Marty Aronoff keeping all the numbers for us. First team Hall of Famer. 15:37 to play in the ball game. It's 36-24 Maryland. And Brown throws it away, but the foul will be on Pankey. And that's 2 on Pankey.
They made a concerted effort, I'm talking about Virginia Tech, to get Davila involved in this second half, to get him some touches down low, let the ball go through him, and then work out from there.
Pankey and Davila continue to be physical with each other. A lot of bumping and grinding going on. Eddie can't find a shot. Shot clock not a factor here on this possession. Kick it back out for the 3 ball. Yes! Nicely done. So Hudson starting to heat up from outside. He's got 8 points.
Yeah, his last 2 threes, and like I said, they needed a contribution from somebody, and what a time for him to find his shooting touch.
36-27 Terrapins. Stoglin forces a shot, misses everything.
They're going to make a move, I think, to get him out of the game and calm things down.
Get the ball back to Mosley, and they put the ball in the senior's hands to settle things down. Now back to Stoglin. Keyshawn Howard about to check in for him. Faust has it taken away, and the Hokies on the break.
It's been a completely different team here during this last stretch. They've really gotten a big lift from Hudson. They really played the screen roll that time well. A nice little spark to life here, and talk about some bad shots by Stoglin and Virginia Tech getting back in this game.
Maryland 4 turnovers this half, and it's cost them. It's a 7-point game. 13-point halftime lead. They built it up to 15. Direct Auto is helping drivers get affordable car insurance. Visit your local store or directgeneral.com and start saving today. Keyshawn Howard and Nick Faust, our drive of the game. Terrapins have lost their rhythm a little bit. Try to go back inside to Pageant. He left hands and scores.
Much more aggressive move. Again, we talked about it. No double team help coming down. See how this Maryland offense works with Terrell Stoglin taking a little rest on the bench.
Maryland had built its lead to 15. Virginia Tech cut it to 7. Pageant helps them build it back a little bit. And this will be a foul and a bucket. Go to the line for one more.
Basket by Lorenzo Hudson.
There's the look inside. Pageant, nice work. Very patient inside against Terrell Eddy.
His third on the team. At the line, Lorenzo Hudson for 1.
The foul was on Nick Faust. That's his 3rd. Hudson at the line and converts a 3-point play. 13:36 to play, and Virginia Tech has climbed right back into it.
We saw it in Hudson, 9 points in the last 2.5 minutes, and he has the ability to go into the low block and score. He did it against Virginia. A couple threes here.
Mosley into the paint and scores.
Basket by Sean Mosley.
Very calming bucket from the senior.
They had a 3-on-1 break.
Well, you could see the respect. They came big that time with Len to double Hudson down in the low post.
Right over top of Alex Len. Davila with a nice bucket.
It's been Victor Davila and Lorenzo Hudson who have really gotten them back into this game.
Davila with 8 points now. Stoglin beyond the arc for 3.
It's one of those, it's a more under control shot and looked like his team expected it, and that's the difference between a good shot and a bad shot.
Didn't force it.
They're really trying to work Stoglin over in the low box.
Mosley picks off the cross-court pass.
Yeah, bad decision that time and a good interception by Mosley.
Stoglin from beyond the arc. Yes, for 3 more. Timeout, Seth Greenberg and the Hokies.
Well, now he's shooting them back into this game. The good screen by Pageant gave him a little bit of a look. I don't think he's ever going to become less aggressive.
He will always shoot. He will give a coach gray hairs, but he will always shoot.
Yep.
2 threes in the last 29 seconds. And the leading scorer in the ACC has pushed the lead back to 12. The ACC is more interactive than ever, folks. Vote in the weekly polls on Facebook. Join the conversation at the ACC on Twitter. And subscribe to wireless alerts. Visit the Fan Zone on the ACC.com to discover how you can access the ACC.
Well, a good timeout that time by Seth Greenberg, and he's a little frustrated right now. He got back into it down 7, and then a couple of bombs by Stoglin. He can't let this game get out of shape again.
Glenn loses Davila for the second, back out to Eddie for the 3. Yes!
All of a sudden, the 3 game has come alive for Virginia Tech.
That's his first field goal. Under 12 minutes to play. Tim Brandt and Mike Juminski with you at the Comcast Center in College Park, Maryland. The Terrapins have led the entire game. Mosley with a turnaround jumper, and the senior responding in the second half. He's got 10 points.
Yeah, he's really been a calming factor for this team. They had a rough stretch offensively, but he's had a couple of good possessions, and then Stoglin's seen a bigger basket.
Mosley again with the turnover. To Len. And knocked out of bounds. It'll belong to the Terrapins with 11:13 to play.
Hey, look, a shooting star.
Oh, yeah.
Let's make a wish.
Virginia Tech 5 of 12 in this game, so they're matching each other right now, but that's how Virginia Tech has been able to claw their way back into this game.
Maryland's largest lead was 15. Virginia Tech cut that to 7. This is Sean Mosley beyond the arc. And this is going to be a travel against the Hokies, so they turn the ball over again. There was a point early in this ball game where Virginia Tech had more turnovers than points. Stoglin with a high floater.
Robert Brown that time, again, you bite on the pump fake. He really could have forced him into a bad shot that time, but he let him off the hook.
Brown shoots the 3. Virginia Tech gets it back, keeps the ball alive offensively. You have the feeling this is a key possession. Maryland's starting to pull away here again. And the foul. The bucket counts and one more. That's a big bucket for Virginia Tech.
There, see again, it's the pump fake inside, and he just made a tough shot along the baseline. And then Padgett that time just kind of waved, and Len not in a position to come over and help. That was a pretty strong, aggressive move by Jarrell Eddie.
The foul is on Alex Len. That's his first. Eddie at the line. Eddie, a 83% free throw shooter, one of the best in the conference. And he makes it a 10-point game. So Brown goes out of the ball game, and Rankin comes back in for Virginia Tech. Eddie, last 6 Virginia Tech points.
How about this, Tim? And then Virginia Tech 19 points in the first half. They've already scored 21 here, and we're only halfway through, so the offense got a wake-up call.
So far for the Maryland Terrapins, it's been mostly Stoglin and Mosley. Stoglin has it taken away, and Green scores at the other end. It's an 8-point game.
3-point shooting and then getting some points off of your defense. Not having to bang away against the half-court defense of Maryland. Score some easy points.
Another turnover by Maryland as Padgett has it taken away.
Yeah, Green coming alive. That was his first field goal in the last 22 minutes. Maybe a little bit of a forced shot there on the break.
Boy, that could have been huge. Padgett, little drop step, And he's fouled. So James Padgett will go to the line to shoot 2, but he's only a 59% free throw shooter.
Yeah, that's just good active hands. And then Green out in the open floor.
Padgett is 1 for 2 at the line today. 1 for 3. Stoglin goes out. Mosley goes out. Stoglin stays in. Mosley goes out. And he makes the second one. Baron Weiss will check in. First time we've seen him this afternoon. Baron Weiss, 6'10", 200-pounder from the Netherlands, playing for Maryland.
Rankin on the floor running the point now allows Green to become a scorer.
Green with a nice drop-off pass, and this foul will be on Weiss. And it'll be a 2-shot foul.
Well, it's just been a different Virginia Tech team offensively. They've been more in rhythm, moving the ball, spreading it around. Guys are starting to shoot the ball a little bit better.
Jarrell Eddy scored 2,600 points in Cannon School in Charlotte. Had 12 points, 14 rebounds against BYU Wednesday. Closed captioning for ACC basketball provided by Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. It's bow time. Eddy has one more coming. And he makes them both. 8 points in the last 2.5, almost 3 minutes.
See, I thought Pankey had some good success in the low block. Let's see if Maryland maybe gets back to him a little bit, giving him some looks.
Deshaun Howard back to Stoglin. And Stoglin knocks down a tough 3 right over top of Rankin.
Yeah, that was pretty good defense. That's one you just have to shake his hand. I thought they did a nice job containing him, and he just beats you with an offensive play.
Pushes Maryland's lead to 10. Eight and a half minutes to play. Pass down low, and it scores right over top of Baron Weiss.
That was a big possession. You wonder if they scored, if Maryland came down and scored, if Seth Greenberg might have been forced into another timeout, but they get it back to 8 points.
Raines took that 240 pounds right up to the rim.
Yeah, found himself in the starting lineup for good. He's giving them some good production.
Here's Stoglin again. Stoglin feels a one-on-one battle. And his shot is short. When you challenge Stoglin, he'll accept the challenge, but a lot of times it will become a one-on-one game.
Yeah, you don't want it to become a battle. You don't want to become personal in that situation.
Green with the floater. That was halfway down and came back out. They called this on Weiss. We'll return after this word from your local ACC station.
ESPN College Game Day is hitting the road again.
I think it's the best venue in college basketball.
I love coming back here.
Reese, Jay, Digger, Huber, and Coach Knight will post up at Hoops hotbeds.
Entire Jayhawk Nation here. How can the Big Ten not be the best conference, right?
There's nothing like the college atmosphere.
ESPN College Game Day, covered by State Farm. Saturdays at 11 a.m. and 8 p.m. on ESPN, plus an additional hour at 10 a.m. on ESPNU.
Hey, look, a shooting star.
Oh, yeah.
Let's make a wish.
Hey, guys, we got the RV started.
No way. That's what I wished for.
Me too.
Is that what you wished for?
Yeah.
ESPN, your NBA destination for games Wednesdays and Fridays.
ESPN, the home court of college hoops. Big Monday.
Are you telling me there's no magic in this house tonight?
Super Tuesday.
Oh, my goodness.
Wednesday night hoops.
Got it for three.
Thursday night showcase.
Hello, the high rise.
Saturday prime time.
Holy cow.
College basketball all season long on ESPN and ESPN2.
Hey, Bucky. Hey, that piece on left-handed athletes, is that almost done? Okay, thanks.
So it's time to leave you a preview so you too can review what we do. 20 years in this business, how you sell soul, she wins. People bear witness. Thank you for letting us be ourselves. So don't mind if I repeat myself. We simple life.
Virginia Tech continues to make runs, but it's still 54-46 Maryland with 7:38 to play. The ACC Digital Network gives fans access anytime, anywhere. This week, join former Georgia Tech star Drew Berry as he provides post-game analysis on all of Saturday's ACC matchups, including Virginia's visit to NC State. Visit theaccn.com for more.
Well, and really in this half, I mean, it's been Victor Davila, Jarrell Eddy, and Dorenzo Hudson who finally showed up. I mean, Green was trying to carry them in that first half, but he's finally got a supporting cast now.
Terrell Stoglin hit 3 threes in the last 4.5 minutes. He has 20 points now. Range with a jump hook. Big rebound by Padgett. Rankin doing a nice job on Stoglin. Back out to Mosley. And Stoglin throws it away. $16,976 here today in disbelief as he just throws it away.
Yeah, it was just a kind of a bad pass. I mean, there was really not much more room for Faust to go out to at half court.
That's 13 turnovers for the Maryland Terrapins, just leaving the door wide open for the Hokies. Maryland still in a man-to-man. And now Virginia Tech turns it over. A little bit out of control as they went across the lane. Finney-Smith couldn't regain his footing.
At the clock running down, Finney-Smith is not the guy you want to have with the ball in his hands. You got to get it to one of your primary ball handlers. Let them make decisions.
Number 5, Dorenzo Hudson.
Still plenty of time left in the ball game. 6.5 minutes to play. Maryland got a little careless with the ball against Duke late in the game Wednesday night. Padgett with a drop step. Scores again with the left-handed timeout, Maryland.
They've got Davila on Pankey inside, and that's a good matchup. But then you've got Jarrell Eddy, who's trying to score, try to guard Padgett inside, and he's just a little undermanned right now. Good patience that side, and he's used the left hand very well in this game. That's a tough matchup inside. That may, in that instance, it may force Virginia Tech to try to come down. Well, he's also got another year or two in the weight room too. So I mean, that's just a tough matchup for Jarrell Eddy.
56-46 with 6:20 remaining in the ball game.
Either come with the double or maybe look at the zone, which they had some success with in the first half.
Padgett with 8 points, 3 rebounds now. Another turnover by Tech. Maryland will try to get the transition going. Stoglin. And Stoglin is fouled hard.
Jarrell Eddy grabbing his elbow. He came down. He caught that one perfectly, and his legs went out from underneath him. Here's the play. That was not a good pass inside. Nice anticipation by Howard, and then the good look right there.
Both guys went down hard. So the foul is on Eddy. That's his third. Stoglin goes to the line. Stoglin has struggled on the line against Duke and here today. 1 for 3, but he has 20 points. And he makes the first. Terrell Stoglin out of Tucson, Arizona. Second leading scorer in state history. You know who was first? Mike Bibby.
There you go. With Stoglin, if he takes 18 shots to score 20 points, that's not the worst thing. If he's 8 of 18, I think when the games when he really hurts you is when he's 8 for 13.
Marty Aronoff tells us Mike Bibby still with the Knicks. Still collecting a paycheck. And he can still score.
I'm from the Henry Bibby era, so not to date myself, but.
Green, step back jumper. Hudson's been quiet the last few minutes after hitting a couple of threes. Here he is with a 2-ball. And a great follow. Rankin makes it a 58-48 game.
Yeah, the problem with that, and Seth Greenberg with the timeout, but 2 second chance opportunities for Virginia Tech. The initial defense good right there, but you have to clean up your own defensive board. Talk about where the miss is, and that was perfectly timed. Nice soft miss right in front of the rim.
Great anticipation.
Yep. 12 second chance points now for Virginia Tech.
So with 5:28 left, it's 58-48. You're Seth Greenberg. What are you telling them?
Well, again, I thought it was a good timeout just to get calmed down. Make sure you're on the same page defensively. 10 points, very doable at this time.
Maryland's largest lead was 15 points. Virginia Tech has been within 7 twice.
Right now, if you're Virginia Tech, you really got to pay attention to Stoglin and Mosley from 3. Those are the guys that have hurt you in this game.
Keyshawn Howard. This is Mosley. Stoglin's lost his footing a couple times today. Mosley now with a shot clock down to 10. Back to Pankey, and Pankey is fouled. His foul will be on Davila.
Pankey really hasn't seen the ball much in the second half, but 28 seconds of good defense that time, and then the reach in puts Pankey at the free throw line.
Now, Maryland is not a good free throw shooting team. 64% for the season. But we're down to money time now, so Ashton Pankey, 63% free throw shooter, has 2. That's his first of the day, and he buries it. Barksdale goes out. Ashton Pankey out of the Bronx has another one and hits them both. Pushes the lead back to 12. Eddie got caught, hits Davila, and Davila is fouled by Pankey. He almost got caught in the air, but found Davila at the last second. Pankey picks up his 3rd.
And I thought, again, a much more concerted effort in this second half on the pick and roll action to get the bigs involved. The guards were looking for their offense in the first half, and Davila has gotten a lot more touches in this half.
Davila makes the first. Faust goes out. Padgett comes back in. Barksdale comes back in for the Hokies. Davila makes them both. It's a 10-point game, and Davila has 10.
Some extended pressure after that made free throw.
Maryland's got to make sure that it doesn't get complacent here. Just over 4.5 to play, but they shoot quickly anyway. Stoglin for 3. Here's Green. And Stoglin is fouled. The foul is on Rankin. That's his first. Still not in the bonus.
Virginia Tech foul, number 10, Marquise Rankin, his first, fourth on the team.
Mosley to Pageant. Back to Stoglin. They break the press easily.
Handled it the last couple of times. Not a great ball handling team. A negative assist to turnover ratio. Seth Greenberg hoping that he could get into that backcourt and get a couple of easy baskets.
They've been overplaying his left hand all afternoon, and it's paid off. He's got his points, but he's had to work for him, and he's got a couple of key turnovers. Shot clock down to 6. Bucket counts. No bucket. .356 to play in the game. It's a 10.
Can do out on the open floor, getting into the rim, and then knocking down threes in this game as well.
Fight for the rebound, and it looks like Hudson comes away with it. Virginia Tech trying to close within single digits, and the blocking foul called on Sean Mosley. You mentioned the 22 points by Stoglin. Virginia Tech has 4 guys in double figures.
Well, and they needed to step up too. I mean, Eric Green has really struggled. He started 3 of 3 in this game. There's only 1 of his last 12.
You mentioned those 22 by Stoglin. 15 of those are in this half. Here's Lorenzo Hudson, the 6'5", fifth-year senior from Charlotte, makes the first.
It really has seemed to accept and has responded to coming off the bench instead of being in the starting lineup. And Seth Greenberg looking for a little firepower from that second unit.
And he's as good at the line as anybody in the country. 87%, knocks them both down.
And let's face it, at the end of the day, I mean, starting really doesn't make much difference. He's going to play starter minutes. So it's just being able to work into the game a little more slowly.
Turned over by Maryland. Green, right side, Hudson, blocked by Mosley. Maryland ball.
What a save by Sean Mosley, coming back and making that play. Just timed it perfectly. Just met him, forced him to double clutch, and that allowed him to get the break.
And what a play by Virginia Tech to pick off the pass to start the break. Mosley 3 steals, and he has that block to save what was a definite bucket for Virginia Tech. Here's a foul away from the ball. That's Rankin's foul. That's his second. So Maryland will get possession with 3:28 remaining in the game and an 8-point lead. One more foul and Virginia Tech will be in the bonus. That foul is offensive against Mosley.
Nice job of crowding that time by Hudson, getting up into him in defensive position. Just right there, and he came through basketball, but clearing out with the elbow.
They're going to look to see if an elbow was thrown on this play. So the officials now pulled a monitor up to the table, and they're taking a look at it. Why don't we take a look as well?
It looked like he caught him more with the arm than the elbow. He thinks it's a bad call.
You think? Mark Turgeon is close to getting a technical foul here. He and Ray Natilli have been going after each other a little bit here. Now Seth Greenberg comes down. He wants an exclamation. see if we can get Brian Kersey over here to get an explanation once they get it sorted out.
Important thing to get sorted out on Sportsmanship Week.
So they're telling both of the officials.
Well,
and they're telling the coaches. And it's going to be a flagrant against Mosley. This is huge in an 8-point game.
We talked about it, so it helps when you got a guy like Hudson who can come up and
he's been money at the
down
line.
Free throws.
The last time it was a 7-point game, Maryland led 16-11. They closed it 8 minutes into the game. Hudson is money at the line, has another one. And he misses. Announcer jinx.
Yeah, big miss too. But they get the possession back.
Even when he misses, it looks so good, though. I mean, he's terrific.
Well, right now, this is their best offensive unit out on the floor for Virginia Tech.
Green right down Main Street.
How about this? This team has shown me a lot of heart, Virginia Tech, and it's been their offense that has finally woken up.
Stoglin, step back jumper, yes. He cherishes moments like this.
Yeah, now the thing is, and Mark Turgeon knows, they've got to get a stop down the other end.
2.5 to play. That's the 4th 3 by Stoglin in the game. He's got 25 points. Green. Maryland does get a stop. And the foul. Both teams playing with so much emotion.
Yeah, this is nice. They just kind of waved at him. Nobody in the back line not seeing where Green was on that curl. And then Stoglin might have gotten away with a little bit of a push off there, but has really been knocking down the three, and Turgeon just wanting to get the stop down the other end, which they did.
Mike, we said at the beginning of this ball game, 2 young clubs, not a lot of wins coming up if you look at the records as they go down the stretch. Huge game for both teams, and you can see it in the way they're playing it.
Yeah, Maryland having lost 3 in a row, including one there the last time they played on this home court. But Tim, think about what ifs, and if Virginia Tech had come out offensively in the first half like they played here in the second half, completely different ball game.
That was Faust's first miss at the line today. He was 4 for 4 before that miss, and that was the front end of a 1-and-1. Green back to Davila. Very nice. And timeout Virginia Tech. 1:49 to play. 63-57.
Here we are. So back to 149.
A little home cooking there. I'm just kidding, Mark Turgeon. 1:49 left in the ball game. 63-57 is the score. Maryland has led the entire ball game. Virginia Tech has not led once. This is as close as the Hokies have been since the 8-minute mark of the first half.
Okay, yeah, Virginia Tech out of timeouts at this point. Maryland still with 2.
Again, full court press. Faust lost it out of bounds. It's a blocking call, and Seth Greenberg is furious. Foul is called on Hudson. Tried to take the charge.
I don't know if he's calling him. I don't know if he's calling that he didn't give enough room to come down after the catch.
And so again, it's a 1-and-1 situation. We're in the bonus. And the young freshman from Maryland will go to the line, Nick Faust. 4 for 5 at the line today. Just missed his first one at the last trip for Maryland. Misses that one, and Mosley gets it back.
Foul, though, on
foul
Mosley.
is on Mosley. That's 4 personals on Mosley. Wow.
Big opportunity now for Virginia Tech. They almost gave up an offensive rebound on a missed one-on-one, but
there are more explanations and trips to the scorer's table.
Yep. Yeah, you see the shove right there in the back. Jarrell Eddy got pushed underneath the basket, and he's at 83%.
And misses the first. He's 5 of 6 today. Eddy has another one coming.
Finney Smith will come in for him on the dead ball.
And makes the second. So Finney Smith does come in, as Mike said, and now Maryland will bring it in against the press again. And the press has caused some problems here for the Terrapins.
A little longer and more athletic guy on the point of that press, too.
Keyshawn Howard gets it to Faust. Faust pulls it back, gets it to Stogler.
That's
1:30 to play in the ball game.
Seth Green was saying no foul in this situation, just need a defensive stop. Still plenty of time.
Shot clock down to 11.
A good tie-up by Davila at that time. Maryland gets the ball.
With 3 left on the shot clock. So Maryland melts 32 seconds off the clock, but they only have 3 left here to get a shot off. Hankey checks back in for Maryland. 73 seconds remain in the ball game. Mosley's got to let it fly. And he's fouled. So Mosley will go to the line to shoot 3.
Seth Greenberg is absolutely distraught on the sidelines. Robert Brown, you have to have an awareness of the clock. Not even, you can pressure, but not even make it close. He just reached in at the last second.
And the senior knew it. Put a big smile on his face. Makes his first. He's got 11 points. First time at the line today. Makes the first. Got 2 more coming. Finney Smith goes out of the game. And Eddy checks back in for the Hokies. Mosley makes all 3. 8-point game. 65 seconds left. Green fires beyond the arc. And the Terrapins again will try to melt as much of this as they can in the final minute. They want the hands in, or the ball rather, in the hands of Stogler or Mosley. And an offensive foul on Stogler.
Good call, got out of control that time, trying to make a play behind him. You get airborne in that situation, you're inviting a foul. Finney Smith did a nice job stepping in. Sorry, Hudson.
Great play.
Yeah.
16th Maryland turnover. The officials today hearing it from both coaches.
That's an every game occurrence, though.
Green all alone for the layup. And this foul will be called against Robert Brown, which stops the clock at 34.6 seconds.
That last basket by Green, I understand you don't want to foul in that situation. That may have been a little too easy. I mean, he got to the rim a little too easily.
It's gotten quiet in here, Mike.
Yeah, it's a young team, and they've seen these guys have a little trouble finishing some games.
Maryland was down 4 with about 8 minutes to play against Temple. That game was going back and forth, and then Temple won it down the stretch. You can see how nervous everybody is. The Duke game went back and forth. Maryland held the lead for most of the first half. Then that game down the stretch, Duke pulled away. Maryland trying to hold on here today. Stoglen, 25 points, 3 of 5 at the line, and misses that one. It's a 6-point game. Trying to make it a 3-possession game here with this free throw. Misses them both. Davila with a rebound. Green again down the lane. Too easy. Virginia Tech has closed it to 4 points. And they foul Mosley with 26 seconds left. It's fun to watch these young guys,
well,
Mike.
Yeah, you know, it's been an incredible effort. There have been some mental mistakes down the stretch by Virginia Tech, but they've stayed with it, stayed in this game. Let's see if Maryland continues to be charitable at the free throw line.
Maryland has missed 4 of its last 5 free throw attempts.
At the line, Sean Mosley.
So Sean Mosley back at the line. He's 4 for 4.
They're just under 80%, and I thought he's been the guy who's been the calmest for this team in the last 10 minutes.
Makes them both. You can tell he's the experienced senior. See if Green tries to drive it again. Does. Nice dish to Davila, who finishes with 18.3 seconds left. And they foul Stoglen quickly, and that's a guy that they thought normally would be money at the line, but he struggled there today and this past Wednesday.
Here's the way they've really had trouble keeping Green in front, and Davila has been a nice addition for them offensively in the second half.
So Stoglen goes to the line. He's just 3 for 7. Makes the first. 5-point game. Trying to make it a 2-possession game here. And misses the second. Green pushes it hard. Green scores with 11.2 seconds left.
Well, it seems like they're scoring with only 3 or 4 seconds coming off the clock.
And Pishon Howard is fouled. His foul called on Robert Brown.
All of a sudden now you get a couple of misses, and it's a 1-possession game still.
Number 1, Robert Brown, his third.
And Pishon Howard, just a sophomore out of Los Angeles, California. Started Oak Hill Academy here near the Washington, D.C. area. It's his first time at the line today. He's a 71% free throw shooter. Makes the first one. 2-possession game.
Yeah, 47 points in this second half for Virginia Tech. After a 19, they just the first half, just too big a deficit.
Makes them both with 10.2 seconds left. Maryland takes a timeout.
The Terrapins call a 30-second.
71-66 Maryland.
ACC basketball has been brought to you by Food Line, by BB&T, by your local Toyota dealers, and by AT&T.
So, Mike, we're down to the last 10.2 seconds left. I think Virginia Tech has done a great job here, Melton, or saving the clock.
Yep, no, and you know, without the timeouts to get him in that position, and Maryland hit the free throws that they needed, but they've been inviting the 2-point play early on, and then just kind of guarding the 3-point line.
We got to get back here.
This is Green again, over to Brown. Brown, this is for three. Hits it! Brown with the three ball makes it 71-69 with 4.3 seconds left, and Stoglin going back to the line. Mark Turgeon cannot believe it.
This is really an incredible play, and he has been quiet up to this point in this game. But Virginia Tech just won't go away, just making play after play. Scored on their last 5 possessions, finishing out this game.
So Terrell Stoglin will go back to the line, and he has struggled there this afternoon. Just 4 of 9. Stoglin, 75% free throw shooter. He scored 20 or more points in 14 of the last 19 games, including this afternoon. .6 seconds left.
Yeah, right. It's right here. Stoglin, you take care of business. You knock down 2 threes or 2 free throws, and game's over.
You miss them. Virginia Tech's got a chance to win.
Still a lot of time to get the ball up the floor and get a decent look.
Look at these two guys. So Terrell Stoglin at the line. Here's your ball game, folks. Virginia Tech could still have a 3 to tie it. The all-important free throw. Stoglin makes them both.